You're listening to the Candid Comms podcast with Rachel Miller. Tune in for practical advice and inspirational ideas to help you focus on all things internal communication related. Hello and welcome to the show, and welcome to season 8 of the Candid Comms podcast. It is 5 years since I launched this podcast during lockdown, and if you listened to some of the very early episodes, you will know that I recorded them in all sorts of different places as we were in lockdown, including inside my car while it was parked on the driveway. It is wonderful to be back in the studio and bringing you season 8. Coming up in this season, we are going to be discussing all things internal communication related, and particularly change communication, because I need a drum roll. My brand new book, Successful Change Communication: How to Inform, Involve and Inspire Employees, is on its way. The book is being published on the 3rd of April 2026 in the UK and rest of the world, and on the 30th of April in the United States. So depending on when you're listening to this episode, Successful Change Communication is either available to pre-order today, or you can get hold of it via your favourite bookshop. I am selling copies on the All Things IC website, and this is the only place where you can get the limited edition, which means it has the All Things IC logo on the front, which is my business, and also an additional foreword. So just in case 84,000 words on all things change communication related weren't enough, I've written you some more. So that special edition, which can be signed, and I can also personalise it for your team, for you, or perhaps someone that you mentor. Feel free to pop the details in your order via allthingsic.com and tell me what you would like me to write. So coming up in this season of Candid Comms, we are going to be diving into all sorts of topics. We're going to be looking at how to plan change, cultural change, the role of leaders during change, which I know is always one of those comms conundrums which we try really hard to crack. We're also going to be looking at the language of change communication. Now, I love this topic, comms friends. This is one of my very favourite topics because the role of language during change is so important. It is impossible to communicate change and avoid using the word change, because every single time we try and call it something else and we try and cover the language of change in transformation or revitalization or reform or whatever language we're using, nothing takes away from the fact that it's still change. Our employees are the first to know that it is still change. So we'll dive into that in that episode, and we'll really examine the language of change. I'll also be sharing some of the models that you can find in my brand new book. Now, these are the things that I've developed for years as a communication consultant. As I'm recording this season, it's the start of 2026, and we've just celebrated 13 years of the business of All Things IC. And throughout that time, what I've seen time and time again is the need to translate comms theory into reality. So over the years, I've developed my own methods, my own frameworks, my own techniques, my own models for doing exactly that, for developing communication theory and helping my clients and comms friends to translate that theory into reality for their organisations. So in this season, I will be lifting the lid on some of the models that are being featured in my brand new book that normally only get seen by our clients or attendees of All Things IC Live, which is our quarterly masterclass and mastermind, which is held in person in London. Do see allthingsiclive.com if you want to find out more about those sessions. And we have dates in the diary for this year on the 11th of March, 13th of May, 9th of September and the 9th of December 2026. We will also, in this season, be looking at Cascade. And the reason is this always comes up in conversations when I'm helping people to plan their internal communication, and in particular, how to plan change communication that relies on people managers or line managers. We use that phrase so much. We talk about the importance of cascading, the need to cascade. Now, if you've read my first book, Internal Communication Strategy, you will know that I write about cascade in there. And it's really important for me when I'm looking at how an organisation communicates that I understand the flow of how information flows and how communication happens. So what are the one-way, the broadcast methods, and what are the two-way, the conversational methods? And where does cascade happen? And if it doesn't happen, why not? What are the barriers and what are the blockers? What are the things that get in the way of a cascade happening? So we'll unpick all of that in this season. You'll find an episode dedicated to cascading, and there's lots more. So hopefully that has whet your appetite in terms of what is coming up. Thank you for tuning in to this launch episode for season 8. Also coming up this season is a brand new voice. In the middle part of future episodes, you will hear my 13-year-old daughter, Miss Miller. She is going to be recording the middle segment, which is where we tell you all the things that are happening and what's going on in the world of internal communication. So listen out for Miss Miller taken to the microphone from the next episode onwards. As ever, I love hearing from you. Do keep in touch with me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Rachel Miller, or see the website, or why not send us a message, hello@allthingsic.com. And remember, what happens inside is reflected outside. See you again soon.